House Democrats considering tax increases to pay for Social Security. Let me explain this. They want to go from a threshold of $132,000. That's how much you're taxed on now. They want to go up to $400,000. Also, they want to raise the tax rate over a 25-year period from, what is it now, 6.2 to 7.4%.
7.4% over a 25-year period.
So that is a whopping tax increase for Social Security.
Yes.
Okay, now it probably won't happen, but that's what they propose. Brandon Arnold is with us, the National Taxpayers Union. So, the Democrats want to raise taxes rather than raise the retirement age. What do you say to that?
Well, I think this is a bad idea. Regardless of what you think about the state of the economy right now, and certainly there are a lot of Democrats in particular that have said we're headed toward a recession, a tax increase is a bad prescription for economic growth. It's going to push the economy in the wrong direction. So I don't understand why they're coming out with a proposal like this right now. I understand Social Security has its issues. You talked about reforms that could be made, such as adjusting the retirement age. I think that absolutely ought to be on the table. Tax increases, on the other hand, should not be part of the discussion.
But I'm sure I'm right in saying that this measure, even if it gets through the House, would not get through the Senate.
Oh, that's accurate. This is absolutely DOA, but it's very convenient for Democrats to advocate for tax increases on the rich whenever there's a public policy problem. That's kind of their go-to strategy here. Unfortunately, it's a political loser, it's an economic loser, and it's something that hopefully the American people as well as Congress reject out of hand.
Now, we've got this new study. It's from the IMF, and it suggests that 40% of foreign investments, that what they call phantom investments, 40% is being used to avoid paying taxes. What do you make of that?
It's a little bit concerning. Listen, everybody wants to attract foreign investment to their country. We want Toyota opening factories in Alabama and BMW opening factories in South Carolina. The concern is that these trillions of dollars that are invested from one country to another, that a portion of them are in fact just being pumped into shell companies where they're not actually going toward economic growth. They're not being put toward productive means. That is a little bit concerning, but it's something that we've known about for decades and decades. Policymakers have responded to that here in the United States through things like tax relief. The Trump tax cuts of 2017 reduced our tax rate from 35% to 21% for corporations. That very much helps ameliorate this problem by making it more attractive to invest here rather than creating a need to offshore your profits into a lower tax jurisdiction.
Do you think anything will come of the move to stop making these offshore investments? I mean, there's a lot of talk about money should not be flowing to the Cayman Islands, for example, and money should not be flowing to the Isle of Man, wherever that is. I know
right.
It is. But, you know, there is a move to clamp down on that, so you can't move your capital around freely. Do you think anything will come of that?
It's possible. I mean, we've seen, globally speaking, many countries, not just the United States, reduce their corporate tax rate. Ireland got theirs down all the way down to 12.5%. We've also seen more kind of punitive measures whereby countries have tried to enact measures that make it very, very difficult for companies to relocate their profits. And the problem is sometimes those are counterproductive in nature because corporations stop making investments in that country when they realize that they don't have a safety valve. I'm certainly not defending these tax havens by any stretch of the imagination, but the reality of the situation is as long as they exist, companies are going to pursue that unless we create hospitable economic conditions here. We create a low tax rate and a relatively simple tax code. We've taken big steps in that direction. I hope we'll continue to go down that path, frankly.
We're in the Trump era at the moment, and the Trump era is lower tax rates. We've got that. Do you see that changing if the administration changes?
Well, that's quite possible. I mean, I think you mentioned before, Elizabeth Warren is certainly talking about raising taxes in a dramatic fashion. Many of the other Democratic candidates have put forth plans that would repeal the TCJA, the Trump tax cuts, as well as enact other tax increases. So, yeah, that's a significant threat. The tax cuts are, in my opinion, the best policy that this administration has put into place, and one that has encouraged a lot of investment and a lot of growth here in the United States.
Yeah, and that's why we've got such an excellent economy. Brandon Arnold, thanks for joining us, sir. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of you. Thanks a lot, sir.
I hope so. Thank you.
Okay.